tit.
Hello. You literally said something as we were going live. You absolute tit. Did you say the Office quote? Did you do? You did. You did. I think you said. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Hello. Welcome to this week's Football Talk. It's episode 149. And, well, Josh has got us off to a great start. Dave is your host, and this is your chance to sit back, get yourself comfortable as we're going to bring you up to date on this week's football. We're going to talk news. I'm going to get my brain charged to the quiz. We talk all things Euro 2020. Josh has gone. Josh has absolutely gone. And then I'm going to send Josh an unsolicited Wikifile pick for him to stare blankly at. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, drop us a like, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and Spotify, and then you won't miss out on anything. We're here every Sunday morning. Over to my co-host over in the UK, who's already ruined this intro for me. How are you doing, Josh? All he told me to do before we started was stick to the script, and I stuck to the script, and he interrupted it.
Yes, it was just such a long pause. I felt like I had to fill it, and because I was like, and I thought, he's still got time, but I inadvertently caught the precise moment that he was about to speak, and I do apologise, Dave. It was incredibly unprofessional for me. But I think you did great. You were more composed than me. Yeah. Well done, Dave.
Thank you. How are you, sir? How are you?
I'm pretty good. A little bit hungover. I was out yesterday. I went fishing, actually. A little bit of fishing as well as other stuff, which was fun. Yeah.
Got any good analogies for fishing, Josh?
Well, because we're golfers, it felt like the casting process was similar to the drive, but you got to wait around. It's like if you were to drive the ball down a fairway and it would land in the fairway.
Maybe.
And then you just sat there waiting to see if anything picks up your ball. But nothing comes and pick up your ball. So you hit another one and go, I wonder if anything's going to come and any animal's going to come here. Squirrels, maybe.
Potentially.
The fish of the golf course, I like to call them.
Right, sod all this then. Right, let's move on. Football. First item of news from me, Josh.
Yeah.
It's coming home. Right, item number 2. What you got?
Is that you done?
England played today. We'll touch on it later. You got your England shirt on. Overall feeling?
You haven't?
It hasn't arrived yet. It got stuck at customs. So, from that really reputable place called China, where they make England shirts. So that are legit, definitely from the FA. How are you feeling? Like, overall, the competition has started. What are your confidence levels for England in the tournament? Not today. We'll discuss today's game later. But how are you feeling?
Pretty high. Pretty high, I think. Yeah.
Is this the high before the fall, or is it?
It's high. It's highest because we haven't played yet. So I'm we've got some great attacking talent. I just hope we have the level of intensity that like Italy displayed, rather than the abject kind of lethargy that say Russia have displayed.
Yeah.
And you'd like to think we will. We've got some quite fit players. It's been a long season, so I just want us to be all action. Really go for it.
He wants to go for it. He wants to be all action. Go for it.
Which is what you get from a Southgate side, isn't it?
Exactly. Southgate epitomises those verbs.
Yeah, he seems like England's version of Diego Simeone. He is just all at it, intensity.
Yeah. But I mean, is there anything you've seen, and we're going to review the games as well in a minute, that have happened so far, but is there anything you've seen from the other nations that have played already that could scare you? Are you scared of Italy now that you've seen how they played?
No, because I mean, anybody raving about Chiellini, 37-year-old, having a good game at centre-back. He was basically up against a 35-year-old Yilmaz for the whole game when Turkey barely got any attack. So they played well, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the sternest test. It was kind of backed against the wall from Turkey from first minute. And no, I don't think so. And Belgium didn't really get fully going. But hey, let's see how we do against Croatia. Probably one of the more even matches, I'd say. If we consider, I think Croatia and England are both like. Turkey, Italy have been a little bit. You think Turkey would be more overwhelming favourites, and Belgium, Russia would be more favourites. I think this is a bit more even keel.
Okay. So would you take Chiellini in an England shirt right now over who we've got available? Would you drop, let's say, Mings?
I'm swapping Mings out, aren't I?
Mings for Chiellini, yeah.
Yeah,
100%. 100%. Comment in there. Has your shirt got to isolate for 14 days? Maybe. Maybe that's what my shirt's got to do on arrival. I don't know. But anyway, what's caught your eyes then in the news?
Well, obviously, the Spurs managerial hunt and other clubs' managerial hunts are still ongoing, but it does seem like Spurs managerial hunt is nearing conclusion, which didn't fill the Spurs fan base on Twitter with much hope. It
No,
wasn't
straight swapping it between Roma and
straight
Spurs.
swap, yeah. So Paulo Fonseca, who left wasn't sacked, just wasn't contract renewed at Roma, and Roma have taken Jose Mourinho, which I at first, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't know much about the guy. I've since looked into him a fair bit, and watched some of his side play, his Rome side play, looked at the stats behind his performances, and I'm like, okay, I can get on board with this. He seems quite Pochettino-y in certain regards. And his Roma side were performing well until injury crisis hit, and I know there's stats doing the rounds of look how similar these records are between Mourinho and Fonseca, but let's not forget Mourinho's record is propped up by our overachieving forward line. They scored the same amount of goals, but we had Kane and Son well overperforming our XG. So if they overperform and Roma weren't overperforming their XG, so that bodes well. They were a very good attacking side, defensively a little bit more suspect. But what has been announced is Paratici, the director of football, coming in at the Spurs, which I think a lot of fans were clamouring for. I think they were clamouring for someone to take the football decisions away from Levy. Then he seemingly made a decision about manager, and then people didn't like it. So it's like, well, what do you want?
Is it a long-term deal for the new director of football?
3 years, I think it is, off the top of my head. Yeah, I didn't see before. I've only seen the announcements during the week rather than the confirmation yesterday. But I like the manager and the director of football to work in harmony and to be rather than being two people smashed together without knowing each other. You want one to have chosen the other and both to agree to the terms. So yeah, I mean that's some movement in the Spurs managerial hunt. Obviously have.
So quick question then: how do you feel on a scale of overwhelmed to underwhelmed? Where'd you put yourself?
I'm pretty just slap bang in the middle of
right back in the average whelmed.
Yeah. Okay. Complete.
Nice. Fonseca was born in Mozambique. There you go.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a great one for a manager wikifile if we ever need to get to that point. Premier League manager wikifiles.
Yeah.
Because that would have thrown you right off, wouldn't it? Yeah, born Mozambique. Oh.
Yeah. Don't know many people born in Mozambique. No. So a couple of other Premier League sides still looking for managers. Obviously, Wolves have appointed Bruno Lage. They appointed someone Portuguese.
I think that would surely has to go on the underwhelming.
Yes,
appointments.
I would say so. Another Portuguese manager doing the rounds is Nuno, was seemingly on his way to Palace, now seemingly on his way to Everton.
Yeah. So, there seems to be a constant theme with that Palace job in the fact that it gets all the way to the final bit of negotiations about transfers and then it all falls down. So
yeah, because we've touched on previous podcasts. It's a bit of that one is a bit of a rebuild job. You can obviously keep the status quo and keep your aged players on the roster. You call it an American term, or you might need to rebuild. And I think there probably is a marriott between the two. But then there might be something with Zaha wanting to go, and you're not going to get money for him that you want. It'll be more valuable to you as a coach rather than the money you're going to get for him because it's not going to be mega sums now. But yeah, I'm not quite sure who will take that Palace job. I think that'll be another underwhelming appointment.
I think that'll be a Championship manager, like level manager, maybe a Chris Wilder, something like that. Has Chris Wilder been appointed somewhere else?
No,
West
Brom.
Yeah, reported to West Brom. So you don't know about that one. And then Nuno is now Everton front runner, I think.
There was a link to Rafa at a time, which would have been that would have been dangerous as an appointment, I'd say.
I think it would have been great for Everton to get.
I think he would have done a job, but you're just fighting a losing battle with other things at play at that point, which. Is not you don't as a manager you don't really want things detracting from it like Fonseca for example initially we'll be fighting against he'll get questions you were 10th choice and your Portuguese managers haven't done well at Spurs and things like that you are and the fan base wasn't seemingly on board because I think mainly because I hadn't heard of him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
The standard, the average football fan will know managers managing the Premier League and managers who have achieved and won something big who have never managed in the Premier League.
yeah,
They won't really know. They won't know say the Pochettino equivalents like in other leagues, will they? Like the up and comers, they won't know those,
no,
and so
no.
you discredit them because you just don't know it.
That's my just sticking with Fonseca a second. My probably concern, if I was a Tottenham fan, would be that does he have the pulling power to sign the players you need? Because you hear a lot now about players signing because of managers. So Ancelotti at Everton managed to bring really good players in because of it. Mourinho's always had that pulling power for a player to go and play there. Does Fonseca... Because Spurs are... Okay, you know, the whole ESL top 6 thing was got a bit of a joke around it, but they are a very rich club. They do have a very good reputation. They do have a great stadium. Does he have... Is he the manager to attract the players as well?
Probably not from what you know. So obviously he's previously managed Shakhtar, your beloved Shakhtar.
My beloved Shakhtar, yeah.
So maybe you'll see some kind of Portuguese or Brazilian elements because obviously Shakhtar, he's managed Fred for a while. He must have done, I would have thought. No, I don't necessarily think he does. Paratici maybe, who connected at obviously Juventus, has some links, but I don't think Spurs are in a position to be pulling big names. I don't think we're looking for big names. I think we're probably going to get the players that we... Right, maybe you could see maybe a Dybala coming in. You have a year left in his contract.
Wow.
Paratici, Juve link, Spurs link previously, maybe something like that. And there's a hierarchy there who are kind of would be speaking Italian, but because obviously we've learned Italian by now. But I don't see us getting or wanting to get a really big. I don't see us affording a big name. So I don't think. I think we'll be just where we should be, really, and maybe better buys who aren't big names might stand us in good stead.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
When talking of transfers, then obviously we kind of linked to that, and so we have how appealing Spurs are. We have Emi Buendia, moving, seemingly linked between. It seemed like it ended up between a straight shootout between Arsenal and Aston Villa. And Buendia's chosen Aston Villa.
Yeah, Arsenal didn't pay the whole fee, though, did they? They wouldn't go...
There was an element of the payments up front, and
Is it a game time
thing?
If
it was a straight shootout, do you think that Buendia would have changed his mind? Or
I think straight shootout, he picks Arsenal, yeah. I think if they're all offering same cash to the club, same wages, same bonuses and whatever, I think he picks Arsenal over Villa. It comes down to how much they've said they're going to play him. Like, what sort of contract does he get? I mean, at Villa, he's a foil for Grealish. He plays instead of Grealish, or he plays with Grealish, or he plays alongside Grealish.
So that's a great link up there. If they keep Grealish, which rumour has it Man City are interested, so you never know. That is Buendia on the right, Grealish on the left, and you got Ollie Watkins then feeding off those two. Ollie Watkins, for me, he's the weakest of those three.
Yeah.
People were raving about him. I've not yet seen. He's not been clinical enough. So I think he's got no excuses. He's got a season of adaptation. He's got two players providing a lot behind him. If that does maintain that those three will stay.
Yeah.
I think he needs to have quite a big season, really.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. But I do think Buendia, it's just echoed in the chat, I think he's gone for playing time to Villa. I think if it was even...
he's right wing. He's up against Pepe, isn't he? So whoever Arsenal want to rotate, obviously they've had a few loan players go back, but you don't know what their squad's going to look like. But he's up against £72 million Pepe.
Yeah. On the wing, and then if he plays in the middle, behind the striker, he's up against Smith Rowe, who's a homegrown talent that looks very, very good. And then potentially Saka on one wing as well. So, I think it makes sense for him to go to Villa. I'm looking forward to it. Grealish and Buendia in the same Villa team. That could be incredible. But you're right. It looks like Grealish could be on his way to Man City. But yeah. So, any other transfers then that we've got?
No. One Foyth has left Spurs. Villarreal.
Oh, okay.
They've taken up their option to buy. I don't mind it. I think he showed... It's something not quite to the same extent. Similar to David Luiz, he shows he's got some very good attributes, but they're not really the attributes that you want in a centre back and similarly right back. He looks like he's got mistaken him a lot of the time. I don't think Spurs will live to regret this. I don't think he's going to come back and be some outstanding fullback, centre back. I think he'll have a good career, but there's potential there for sure, and maybe I think he'd have had to have played a lot for Spurs this season to fulfil that, and I'm not sure he would have got that time.
Yeah, okay. Got some building work going on.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, kids, eh?
Ross Barkley, what's going to happen to him? That's in the chat. That's a question in the chat.
Go back to Chelsea.
You don't think Villa?
I can't see anybody taking interest in it. What do you think?
I think Villa might, depending on the fee. I think.
But he didn't really impress with Villa, though, did he?
No.
He was
Everton.
That's not a bad shout.
Back to Everton. I mean, it depends on the manager, doesn't it? It depends on the manager. That's the thing. It depends on who.
Yeah, there's quite a lot up in the air, isn't it, overall, really?
Yeah, I'm just looking at. He played 24 times for Villa, 3 goals. Yeah, it's not brilliant. So.
No, and he wasn't.
He's got 33 caps for England. That's too many.
Yeah, he has intensity when he has the ball.
Yeah,
but not when he was without the ball. I think it was. I don't think he didn't seem like he wanted it that much.
No, but, true. Ross says in the chat, Norwich potentially for Barkley, replacement from Buendia.
Do you know who I thought about as a potential replacement for Buendia? Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott, who had a very good season with Blackburn and very similar stats to Buendia, and obviously incredibly young, probably on loan again.
Yeah.
But make that step up to the Premier League now and play with. And I thought play left-footed off the right. I think I'd be really excited to see it because he, by all accounts, and I saw a few highlights of him, but it had a fantastic season.
Yeah. Nice, very nice. So quickly then, rumours that we've got doing the mills. Sancho to United still bubbling along. I think
Arsenal not paying the money. You seemingly just £1 increments.
But at least this is a little bit better than last summer, where this seems to be like a £10 million difference rather than the 30 million or 40 million we tried to lowball them with last time. I don't know. I still feel like every day it's edging closer. If it's a 6.5 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10 to a 7.
I do feel like it's going to come to fruition this summer. Yeah, I agree.
And now it's on hold, isn't it? Because of the Euros, they won't. Nothing's going to be announced while the England are in the Euros, and our deadline with Dortmund is. We have to have an agreement. We have to pay the cash before Sancho returns back to Dortmund for pre-season training after the Euros. So I think there could be stuff going on behind the scenes now about money, but nothing's going to be announced until straight away after the Euros. And especially, United haven't actually revealed their new kit yet, although it's been leaked all over the internet. They haven't actually announced that new kit, and if you could sign Sancho whilst announcing the new kit, it's a win-win for sponsors and the player and the club, and so, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. So,
and other rumours, obviously, Chelsea again, Daddy Roman's dipping his hands into his pockets, helping out, and Haaland and Hakimi seem to be linked. Which
Haaland is just that. I would be very, very scared of Chelsea if they sign Haaland because. Obviously, I'm quite an advocate of Timo Werner. I think what he actually does isn't appreciated for the team. But yeah, he's missed a lot of chances. Give Haaland those chances, and
and are there space for both those in the side?
Oh yeah. I think Werner will go to a winger next year. I think he'll be an inverted forward or an inverted winger on the left, cutting in and still harassing defenders and running his balls off.
You've got Mount and Werner harassing, and Haaland finishing, putting them in, and But I feel a penny for Reece James's or Azpilicueta's thoughts?
Well, that's what I was just about to ask.
Used as right centre back as well, but I think he's more effective being right wing back. Azpilicueta, absolute legend of the club, fantastic right centre back. I know it's a squad game, but you look at it and go, you're paying 60, 70 million for a right wing back. You, as a Reece James, you'll go, okay, this is a challenge, but
I can see them potentially trying to move Reece James to a centre back and make that more consistent to bring in Hakimi. But Hakimi can play either fullback, but then that also means, what does it mean for Ben Chilwell, who's just had a really good season for Chelsea, like a big injury at one point, missed a fair bit of the season, but came back, played well in the Champions League final, has fitted into Tuchel's tactics really well. It's an odd one. It's unless who's their backup left back at the moment? Marcus Alonso?
And still have Emerson, don't they?
Emerson. Yeah. So if you argue for Emerson and Alonso leaving, then you have Chilwell, Azpilicueta, Reece James and Hakimi as full backs that are rotated a lot, then that's doable. I think that's doable. But yeah.
All right. Well, should we move on to the quiz? Unless you have any other news?
No, nothing from me. So let's go quizzing then.
Ooh, la 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 la. It's quizzing time.
It's quizzing time. It's quizzing time. Talk us through it, Josh. Talk us through it.
Yeah, and the theme of today, obviously, we are talking about England and Croatia next. So reasonably straightforward, but I tried this quiz and I got stuck on a couple of answers. So I expect Dave to win this, or
win it,
pass it, shall I say? I want you to name the starting 11 of England and Croatia in the semi-finals of the World Cup 2018.
Oh, well,
I've given you the clubs that they played for, but fill your boots, Dave.
So straight away in the comments, we've got Ross saying this is too easy. Straight away,
I'm fully expecting you to. I don't think you're going to get 100% no.
So what do you think I'm going to get? What's your pass mark for this? What did you get? How many did you miss?
I didn't. I didn't work out how many first time right answers I got, how many second time ones. But
what are we saying? 75% as a pass mark.
80? No, I think 85%.
85%. All right, 85%. We'll go for it. Challenge accepted.
You should get 100%.
1, Everton, Jordan Pickford.
Yes.
2, Man City, Kyle Walker.
Yes.
Well, he's in there somewhere, isn't he?
You are correct in my order.
I thought you were giving me stink eyes if I've got it wrong. Like, idiot. 3, Man City, Stones.
Yes.
4, Leicester. Oh, it would be Harry Maguire, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Back then, yeah. 5, Tottenham, Kieran Trippier.
Yes.
6, Tottenham, everyone's favourite, Eric Dyer.
No.
Oh my, is it? Okay, we'll come back to that then. Who's that? I've got 2 names that could be. Okay, interesting. Number 7, Liverpool, Henderson.
Yes.
Number 8, Man United is Lingard.
Yes.
Number 9, Man United has got to be Rashford.
No.
Oh my word. Number 10, Man City, Sterling.
Yes.
Number 11, Tottenham is Harry Kane. Got to be.
Yes.
So I'm missing Tottenham, number 6 in this quiz. And by the way, Ross, I've just seen you retract that message, so you clearly didn't get it right. Number 6, Tottenham, and what number?
And number 9, Man United. So you're missing a Spurs player and a Manchester United player.
I'm going to go Spurs. I've only got one guess left at this Spurs one, haven't I?
You've got one guess left for both of these.
Yeah. The Spurs one. Now,
but enough, Dave. This is the exact point. These are two exact ones I got stuck on.
So it's either Winks or Dele Alli. It's either Winks or Dele Alli, and I can't remember. Did Winks go to the World Cup? Surely he didn't. Surely not. I don't know. Southgate did like him, or probably still does like him.
I would have been brave putting him in the squad though, wouldn't it? This time round.
Yeah. A 9, Man United, and it wasn't Rashford as a attacking player, because I assume this is in formation order, and we played 3 at the back. Did we play 3 at the back? Oh, this is really bugging me now. Man United, who wasn't Rashford at the World Cup. I've already got Lingard. Oh my word, this is so irritating. I am sweating here. I'm going Dele Alli for Spurs.
Correct.
Oh, good.
Which takes you to 86%.
Oh, thank God. Right. Man United. In a forward role.
We'll just work through the formation.
Yeah. Okay. Goalkeeper.
So you've got Pickford, Walker, Stones, Maguire, Trippier.
3 at the back. So that was, I think, wasn't it? It was Walker, Stones, Maguire at the back, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Trippier.
Trippier right wing back.
Yeah. Ali, Henderson, Lingard, someone, Sterling, Kane.
Ashley bloody Young. He took our
It
corners.
is Ashley Young.
He left wing back, wasn't he? And he took like most of the corners and was not that bad in the World Cup.
He was not that bad. Yeah, that is the ringing endorsement we gave him.
Yeah,
Not that
not
bad.
that
Yes.
bad. Oh my word, that was tough. Because I was about to say Luke Shaw as well, but I remember that obviously he would have had he was injured, wouldn't he? He picked up his massive injury around that year.
Mm.
I think. Is that the right year? Or was that 2019? Anyway, oh, bloody hell.
See, I understand a lot of that is easy, but a couple of those were,
Yeah.
I think, it's challenged everyone by the sounds of it.
That 85% was a good pass mark as well because, yeah.
Just crept over.
Just crept over. Lovely, lovely stuff, Joshua. Lovely stuff. Right, should we move on to the review of the games that have happened so far in the Euros?
Let's do it, yeah.
So first up then was Italy, wasn't it? We've mentioned them previously at the beginning of the podcast.
I haven't been able to do derbies for this match. Maybe I should do a Turkish player playing in Italy or an Italian player playing in Turkey.
Ooh.
So we'll go Demiral.
He's gone Demiral. Or you could have had another quiz. You have to say one each.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get some. Next one is Wales, Switzerland. Do you know how many Swiss players playing in Wales? How many Welshman players in Switzerland?
No, that's true.
Ever.
Yeah. Right, okay. I'd go Chanaloglu. Hakan Shaganoglu.
Yes.
Chanaloglu, yeah. I mean, 3-0 for Italy, easy. First half looked like Turkey might hold on, but...
Yeah, they looked on the break a couple of times. But they didn't really get enough bodies forward, and they seemed to change that with Under coming on second half to add some pace, and it almost paid off. You know, he broke through that one time. Unfortunately, he was up against in a straight leg race against Spinazzola, which is not a place you want to find yourself because I think he was a key man for Italy and a player I was reasonably unaware of until last week when I was researching Fonseca's Roma.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this guy can shift, can't he? And it was very odd. I was like, he's often finds himself on the left wing, but he's a right footer. He must be a winger. No, he played wing back for him, and then he lined up in this side in a 4 at the back. I was like, oh blimey, they're going to be weak. But they really did seem to kind of completely shift round and just unleash him as a left wing back, and he was there. I'd say a key man, really.
Yeah, great. He's a great fullback on Football Manager, and that's pretty much all I know about him in terms of like from football. And I think you're right. The shape that Mancini seems to have them playing in gets the best out of the likes of Spinazzola, Immobile, Insigne, all those sorts of players that make them tick. Like they don't. The thing with Italy this year is they don't really have a big standout name like your Totti's, a Del Piero, like that sort of ilk, and they're making their squad work. Now, you touched on this earlier about Chiellini. Is that the only way you beat them, by pace, trying to draw them out and get in behind Chiellini?
I think a better defensive side and who could play. I mean, if you can soak that up on the counter, for example, England would devastate them.
You think so?
Belgium would tear them. Like Lukaku against Chiellini would be unfair. You'd send Chiellini into retirement straight away.
It'd be interesting because they would have faced each other in Serie A. So it'd be interesting to see how their duels have gone in Serie A.
Yeah, I imagine he's a lot more protected and obviously Italy can change the way they line up. That is how they performed against Turkey.
Yeah, okay.
And they obviously have other players who can like Bastoni can come on and be the left side centre back who's obviously knows Lukaku very well from Inter. But Turkey, they offered very little, very deep, but they kept getting caught out. Insigne found himself in that between Demiral and Celik far too many times.
Yeah.
Tried that finish 3 times and then eventually came off.
Isn't it? I find it amazing how the international I don't know. They always say you should never. Soccernomics always says you should never sign someone based off an international tournament, right? Yeah. But how do you feel about if you reverse it? How good of a defender is Soyuncu? Because when he played that, he looks not very good in that Turkey team. Now, is it he becomes a good defender when he has good defenders around him? Most people get better when they play with better players. or should he be defending that line better than he did because he's a good defender for Leicester? Like, I'm just. Do you see what I mean? What question I'm trying to get across?
Yeah. How much can it derail and how much can you critique a person's performance because of it? And I think a fair bit, because I thought I've seen it as a Spurs fan. When Spurs have been playing well, and Pochettino, and all the parts are performing, it makes players look better than they actually are. Harry Winks, for example, is because burst onto the scene under Pochettino and was playing in a well-drilled Pochettino side. Now he's out. Now he's being if he plays under Mourinho infrequently, didn't look anywhere near the player. And I think it's very the Soyuncu, and obviously he's part of that side, but Leicester City have been performing very well.
Yeah.
And they've been set up very well drilled. He's got an Ndidi in front of him. He's got a really experienced Johnny Evans next to him. He's got Ricardo Pereira at times, in and out, but again, performing well. And all of them have had very good performances. But I mean, Kasper Schmeichel, very experienced goalkeeper. All the things have been there that someone can slot in, and you've seen it. Like their centre backs have just time and time again slotted in perfectly.
Yeah.
Like Fofana has come in and done great, because I think it's just a very well drilled side. You take him out of that and into a quite a very young Turkish side, the youngest at the tournament. It did look a little bit creaky.
So I guess then a follow up question sort of thing would be, if you don't sign someone for having a good tournament, do you then cancel a signing you were going to potentially do because they have a bad tournament?
I think you've got to look at more than just a tournament, haven't you? I think some sides won't. Some side I will just go off the back of it. And I mean, you think that highly unlikely to happen in this day and age with the amount of data available. But, we won't get any kind of Liverpool signing Senegalese players off the back of it. But I think you take a look at the whole package. But it gives you an insight. It is a major tournament, different pressure. You have the nation's hopes on your back and stuff. So it will play into it, sure. Yeah.
Okay. And then the second game, which was in that group, wasn't it? Wales, Switzerland, to finish off Group A. Is that Group A? It is Group A, obviously. They're opening the fixtures. That was 1-1. And in my notes, I've written down, I thought Wales were quite lucky. They didn't show very much. And then I've got, they basically look like the Stoke of international football. All long ball. Nothing. They bypassed Aaron Ramsey completely. It didn't really make sense. They've still got Joe Allen in midfield and think he's like Xavi for there, which he was very, very good for Wales in the last Euros. But I don't know. I don't get it. Like, Moore scored a great header, but he is rubbish. He is championship all over. He is not good enough to be at the Euros. I don't understand why. Okay, how Robson-Kanu's gone out a bit, but how he didn't even make the squad to be a difference to come on, because it's a plan B. It's a different sort of striker, and that showed when they brought Brooks on. They brought Brooks on, moved him to right wing. They kept Moore up front, but it gave Bale more freedom to run around. Ramsey got on the ball more in a more attacking midfield role. I just thought Wales were just lucky, really lucky to get anything out of this game.
Well, Switzerland let it happen, really.
Oh yeah,
they took their foot off the gas. They let Wales get back into it, and man of match is probably, from Welsh perspective, with goalkeeper Danny Ward.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
And from Switzerland, Breland Bolo.
Great.
I remember him as a youngster. He got a bad injury. I think he did a cruciate, and he was just this kind of tricky, quick dribbling centre forward, and he made a mockery of the defence at times for Wales. And there's times where the chance that was ruled out for offside. No, people were just ball watching. The Welsh fans were ball watching him head a ball in their own box. Like, you'd be challenged for it. Like a Premier League match, you rarely ever see that. There'll be someone, a Stoke City in Premier League terms, they'd have had a Ryan Shawcross challenge from that header. Attack that. And I think they got lucky. I thought that I think I predicted Switzerland to actually win this, because I just don't see it. I think Wales had a great Euros. I think it's hard to replicate that, especially when you're playing in Azerbaijan as well.
They were, in Azerbaijan. I feel like
it might have been, if they were playing Cardiff, it might have been a different story. But no. Yeah. But I mean, probably good result for Turkey, really.
Oh yeah, I think Turkey will look at that and think that's given us a bit of hope. Joe Morrell and Chris Metham were both absolutely shocking at the back for Wales. Ampadu came on, but he's clearly lacking confidence after his pretty poor season with Sheffield United on loan. So it was just, I mean, it's a very interesting comment actually in the chat. If Giggs was there, would it be any different? Because Giggs hasn't really played, from when I've seen Wales under Giggs, they haven't really played long ball. It's definitely been flowing more through Ramsey and trying to flow it through Joe Allen still. But would it be different? Is it different, that change?
Probably would be. I think Rob Page has tried to keep it very similar, but he will obviously have his own slant put on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just maybe confidence in it. You know that is the manager, that is the person who's led us there, and you feel like if he's done a good job, and someone else takes the reins, especially not someone who's an established manager.
Yeah,
it will dampen it slightly.
Very true. So we've seen all 4 teams play now in that group. What are you thinking for group predictions? Is it changing anything you originally thought you might happen in that group?
No, I think a success would be if Wales got out of the group. Maybe that's to kick up the backside they needed. I mean, Switzerland, Turkey will be. I'll be interested to see how the 3 do. Turkey, Switzerland, and Wales. Because it's hard to judge Turkey playing against the best side.
Yeah, maybe
they'll perform better. But then it'll also be interesting to see if Italy do keep up this, high intensity. It was really fast paced, and if they can keep it up. And they've got a good squad. Italy. They can rotate. They brought a lot of players in. Obviously, it is. The better sides of better squads will do better because they've got 5 subs.
Yeah.
You can really make a difference with bringing off. You're not going to just bring on fresh legs. You're bringing on fresh legs with talent as well.
Yeah, very true. And talking about 5 subs, we'll go to a game where Belgium-Russia, and Russia had to use 2 subs in the first half, both through injuries, one of which was 37-year-old Yuri Zhirkov, who I remember from Chelsea about 10 years ago.
Yes. Yeah. He left wing back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I liked him. I remember him before he got to Chelsea. I thought he was a good player, but that's been a long time, and he is not fresh. He's played 70 odd minutes since the winter break.
Ridiculous, that, isn't it? How is he starting left back for Russia?
I think this may be a very short tournament for Russia off the back of that performance.
I would think so. It's surprising because it feels like Russia have been building up a good sort of squad. If you think about the World Cup when they hosted it and they did well, they've always seemed to have a player they can rely on, like an Arshavin. But there was just nothing there. It was lump the ball up to Dzuba, who won the headers.
They couldn't defend.
Yeah.
And they tried to attack, but didn't get, literally like swatting flies away, wasn't it? It was just it was probably the worst performance so far, I think.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, like you say there, they couldn't defend. Belgium didn't even really need to try. It didn't look like they were playing the full throttle. Belgium.
No, Lukaku looked pretty impressive.
I mean, but yeah, his first goal was rubbish.
How do you feel about when you see Lukaku?
I didn't want us to sell him. I didn't want us to sell him. I've always thought he might not have the first touch and he might not have the hold up play, but he's a goal scorer. He always scores goals. He'll always get you a goal when you need it. I couldn't think of anyone else better. Maybe the problem I think he had at United is that he might not have been our starting striker because it's not how Ole wants to play, and I don't think he wanted to hang around to be a backup. And I think that is the conversation. It's
perfectly acceptable that you're a good player and a good side, and it doesn't always work out. It's not always a match made in heaven. Belgium. It was just good from him. It wasn't. It didn't worry me, but it's kind of what I thought I expected to happen, really. But it was just a good performance. It'd be interesting to see if they can keep going and Lukaku keep scoring, and still if Kevin De Bruyne can come back into the side. Eden Hazard got a bit of game time. Can he turn it on? It's they got gears to move into.
It's a massive confidence booster for them to know they haven't played well and win 3-0 in a major competition. It's incredible. So
absolutely.
And then the game that probably had the biggest talking point of so far of the Euros, probably will be for the whole Euros, Denmark, Finland. We've talked about this off air about how do we touch on the Christian Eriksen incident that happened, and we've sort of said, we'll embrace it, and it happened. We know it happened. Everyone in football knows it happened. He obviously collapsed, and there was emergency paramedics and stuff ran on the pitch to help the situation. Let's call it that. And he left awake and breathing, and he's getting better, which is brilliant. I know that between us, we've spoken about it, and thoughts with the family and everything like that, just echoing what everyone else has said in football, which I think is really good. But how do you feel about the decision to play the game after that? Now, I'll let you answer that question in a minute. I'm just going to keep talking for a second. It was announced through social media that the players had chosen to play the game, finish the game. They had a FaceTime with Christian Eriksen from hospital, and he said, go out and play it and carry on and win it. It's come out today, the day after, and it's come out and said that, well, what actually happened is UEFA said, you can either finish it today or play it at midday tomorrow. Finish the rest of the game midday tomorrow. What's your take on all of that situation?
I think it's difficult. I think you avoid it. I don't. It probably wasn't an option. It probably should have been an option, but it didn't seem like it was. I can understand why you want to get the game done and done and dusted. You don't want to sleep on it. You just want it over. You want that situation over and done with. And
that is what the Danish manager has come out and said. He was like, the players admitted they wanted to play the game for Eriksen, and they just wanted to get it done. They didn't want to go to bed thinking about him and the game and coming back to play 45 minutes. But is there not another option to just? I mean, it was 0-0. It was under 45 minutes have been played. Can you not just say we'll just play it again in 3 days' time? Start from scratch.
I think the schedule of it all will just make it impossible to do. Unfortunately they are a cog in the Euros beast, and they need to have it all go through. As much as how callous that sounds, I think UEFA have got to kind of keep the tournament rolling. Yeah. But unfortunately, it did seem to affect things. We have an uncharacteristic mistake from Schmeichel. We have Højbjerg on penalty duties when it would have been Eriksen. It was not a great day all round, really. It was an awful day all round for Denmark, which is why, get that completely out of the way, make sure everybody got the help they need. They're talking to people they need to talk to, because they've obviously been through a trauma as well as Eriksen. He's getting medical assistance, but there needs to be some kind of maybe some therapy and
mental wellness.
Make sure players' mental well-being is cared for. But the thing we wanted to take away from it as well is that learn CPR, everybody. You never know when you might need to use CPR. At the very least, watch a YouTube video on it, so you know recovery position and how many breaths and how many chest compressions, things like that. Because you can save someone's life, and you might think it would never happen to you, but if it was to happen to you, how grateful would you be if there was someone around you who is like a Simon Kjaer, who was there on scene and got you like that? It's a fantastic skill, an easy skill. The situations are hard, but if you know the skill, you can put it into place, and then everybody benefits from it. And
100%, because I know I've done it. I've done the training. I've had to use CPR on someone, and it is a strange situation when you have to do it. But the training kicks in, and that's why you've done it. And I think you're right. If you just watch a YouTube video, if that's what you want to do to learn a bit about it and the recovery position and what to do, take that away from that, and that's what I should do. Every adult, I think, should learn or know at least the starting points of that sort of process. So, but it's not. I'm sure it's not how Finland wanted to get their first win in their first game in a major European tournament. They got their first win. I'm sure it's not what they wanted. It took the gloss off it in inverted commas, but fair play to them. Fair play to all the players. It was a good header. I know Schmeichel probably should have done better given the circumstances. We understand that, but I mean, what do you see for Finland from here on in the group? Belgium and Russia.
I think it would depend on how Denmark react overall. I think. Can they get back? Can they compose themselves? Obviously, lost a fantastic player because Eriksen won't be. I'll be amazed if he plays again in the tournament. But it'd be great for Finland's confidence to do it. And Finland, Russia again. That they've got this win. They can beat Russia, who looked abject. Then it could be like similar to Wales. It could be just a fantastic tournament for them. It's fine margins, isn't it? It's a 1-0 win. It's not not imperious victory, but you grab those goals and take those chances, and you never know how far you can go.
Very true. Very true. Okay, well, let's move on to what we actually, the big highlight of the day and what this podcast, what we want to talk about, is coming home. England v Croatia, happening today. It's kicking off in about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Just over 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, just over 2 hours. First up, predictions. What are you saying? We're in a predictions league against each other, and I want to know what Josh is saying.
I can't remember what I predicted, but I imagine I've gone for an England win in this.
Okay, I know I've gone for an England win. I've gone 2-1 England.
Yeah,
I've gone 2-1 England. I think we'll score 2 and Croatia will score late on, and make it a little bit tense, but we'll never be really troubled. I'm confident. We chatted off screen again beforehand, and I asked you how you're feeling. You were like, I'm at a high. No football's happened yet, so football.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm at a high. Yeah. Rumour has it of the kind of starting lineup. Seems like there'll be some a back four. So back four, I agree with, because I think you need to combat Kovacic, Brozovic, Modric midfield, because they will just knock the ball around for fun if you let them. So you need to get in and amongst it. So you don't want to play just two in the middle. There with some wing backs, but the decision is seemingly been made at left back of Kieran Trippier.
Seems weird.
Seems odd. He's obviously an excellent right back and had a very good season. Won La Liga at right back. You have Chilwell, and Chilwell obviously played in the Champions League final. You have Luke Shaw, though, a left back who's played left back. He played a back four majority of the season.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised, when I assume, if that's a decision, and it's just one of those decisions we think, I hope it doesn't come back to bite you, because that's what papers latch onto. Something a unique decision you made, it doesn't work, is a stick to beat you with.
Phil Neville, Romania. Could happen again. You never know. Tackling from the wrong side, sort of thing. Wants to go with his right foot and stretches, and I'm not sure. I mean, the only thing I can think about is that it's going to be to counter the winger cutting in from that side, so it goes to Trippier's favourite foot, and then the romanticism of Trippier scoring a free kick against Croatia before. I'm just not sure about it. I'm not sure about it. I mean, how are you feeling in terms of the other selections? Rumoured selections. Mings, a centre-back. He's not, the podcast isn't a fan of Tyrone Mings as a player.
Not a fan of Tyrone Mings, but I mean, didn't think I'll be saying this. Come on, Harry Maguire, get yourself fit.
Okay. And then the feeling around Chelsea and City players, Champions League, Man United players, Europa League final. Are they going to have enough break? Is it going to be good? Is Rashford going to be fixed? He's been carrying knocks all the time. We haven't seen
that's
much
why
of
you
Sancho
point to being
a
good point with Trippier coming in. He's managing the squad for the duration of a tournament. It's like a game every 2-3 days. He's got to manage his squad. So if he thinks he can play Trippier in this match, he's not up against an outstanding winger. He can play that, and you can manage his fitness. It's going to be an endurance test. We've seen with Spain, like COVID can impact squads, and
very
so
true.
You play your fittest players and not quite square pegs round holes, but somewhat oval in a round hole maybe.
Okay.
But it's going to be this is an end of a very long 2 years.
Yeah, very true. So what would you pick? Let's go with that. That's a good question. What would you pick as your England starting 11 for the game today? You've got his squad. You've got the squad that's gone.
I would probably make 2 changes to today's side. Okay. I'd put orthodox left back in.
Yeah, which one, Chilwell or Shaw?
I really like Shaw. Like Shaw, and Shaw has played more in a back four overall and had a little bit more rest time, but I think he's been excellent. And I would probably play Jack Grealish instead of Sterling. I don't think Sterling form warrants his starting position, but I know Sterling can impact it, but I just love watching Grealish. Grealish just driving up players, but that's where the 5 subs come in. We've got a Grealish to bring on. That's a great place to be in.
Okay, cool. I think I would go. Pickford, Trippier right back, Ben White and John Stones in the middle. I'd go Luke Shaw.
Just quickly on Ben. Ben White's played a lot in the back three. I'm not sure. He's a good aggressive defender, but that for me just reeks of.
Well, Maguire's injured, and I don't want Tyrone Mings, and I don't really want Connor Cody. So it's sort of a last situation sort of thing. Left back Luke Shaw, in the middle, Declan Rice and Foden, Mason Mount in front of them. I'm playing a very attacking team here.
That is a very deep Foden. That is going to leave you are
It's basically just Declan Rice, Shield in the back four. Sancho on the right, Grealish on the left, Kane up front. Bosh. Go and get the win.
It'll be an exciting match. I'm looking forward to watching it. Hopefully we have a good performance.
Yeah, quick couple of minutes then. Talk about Croatia. How do you think they're going to line up? What's Croatia's game plan here? Because they don't have Mandzukic anymore. They've lost a couple of the people that we played that they had in the World Cup. Are they just possession, keep the ball, get Modric on it, and try and get Modric to space?
That's a bit. I think will surprise fans is that you got Modric, Kovacic, and Brozovic in midfield. That is such a great core to a side that they will just knock the ball out around really pretty. I mean, Perisic and Rebic on the wings. I mean, Rebic's had a good season. Perisic can have an impact. I think they may be dangerous, but I think the back four for me is, and even the keeper we had, Subasic, was it? Retire. I just think the back four is there to be got at. You've still got Vida. Remember Vida? A very tournament player, isn't he? There. I just think where they're back, we can attack that. It's just, I think a big game for Phillips and Rice. Really, I think is breaking it up, stopping them, getting the tempo going, and get a feel for it. But they are a reduced power from when we played them in the World Cup, and I'd like to think, and Harry Kane aside.
I can confirm we've both predicted 2-1. I can confirm. So get your bets on 3-0 Croatia. Right then. Excellent stuff. Let us know in the chat what you think your predictions are in the comment section as well. But Josh, we'll move on to the classic wiki file, if you're happy.
Hit me.
I got a wiki file for you. Hey! So on the screen, Josh has a wiki file. If you see it, say it. And if you say it, you've said it.
So we have a 2-year youth career, 81 to 83 at Montpellier. And we then make our professional appearance, and we play a lot there professionally. So 83 to 91, Montpellier, 243 appearances in the league, 76 goals. So we're scoring some. 1 in 3-ish. Then we go to Italy for a season. Sample the pizza in Naples, 31 appearances, 6 goals. But we head back to France. Didn't like it. No. A year at Nîmes, 29 appearances, 1 goal. And then we get our goal scoring back a little bit more. So we go to Saint Etienne for a couple of seasons, 70 appearances, 18 goals. We then, still in France, we go Auxerre for 95, 96, 23 appearances, 2 goals. And then we go outside of France again. We're going, right, we've tried Italy, let's go to Spain. Barcelona come calling, 28 appearances, 1 goal. Don't like that. Head back to France again. A different French side. His 6th different French side. 5th? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th different French side. Marseille for a couple of seasons. 63 appearances, 14 goals. And then we have a couple of years at Inter Milan. 67 appearances, 6 goals. Then Manchester United, where he becomes valid for a wiki file. Ticking off the Kana rule, which is a minimum amount of appearances, 31 appearances, I think, is a Kana rule.
Yeah, 31.
And also ticking off the ride-out rule, where he must have to make those appearances post-1996, because that is in our wheelhouse. 48 appearances, 1 goal for Manchester United, 602 league appearances in total, 125 goals. Interesting.
Thoughts?
Frenchman.
Yep.
And now I'm thinking, I think the goals are a bit of a red herring.
Really?
Because I think it may be someone more defensive scoring those goals and skewing the stats. Because that's like 125 goals in 60 appearances. That's kind of 1 in 5.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, a Frenchman moving into Milan to Man United for a couple of seasons. The only person I can think of, off the top of my head, is Larry White.
It is Larry White. Yeah.
Laurent Blanc.
It is Laurent Blanc, or Larry White, as Josh knows him. Yeah, really. Do you know what? Finding this wiki file, fascinating. Laurent Blanc is fascinating. What was
going on at his start of his career? He must have been in midfield.
No, always been a centre-back. He played as an attacking midfield very early on for Montpellier.
Scored 76 goals and moved back.
And then moved back to centre-back. That's pretty much it, yeah. Like, he literally the first line in his early year. His career started at Montpellier, where he signed his first professional contract in '83. A very technical but slow player, he played as an attack midfielder, helped the club get promoted to Division 1 in '87. A few years later, he decided as a defender following the advice of Michael Meze to suit a position for his physical stature. And that's it.
Well, can you imagine now a player getting promoted?
Ross Barkley. Imagine Ross Barkley. Someone suddenly went centre-back.
Who's slower? Who's slower than that? An attacking midfielder that's slow.
Mesut Ozil. Technical ability.
Sweeper.
Slow.
Ozil was a sweeper. He can read the game.
Yeah, 100%. But there's he's had a bit of bad luck with injuries through his career, and then the Barcelona thing is just incredible. Blanc's success at Auxerre drew the attention of several big European clubs, and he agreed to join Barcelona in Spain largely because of Johan Cruyff, who wanted him and persuaded him to sign. On the very day that Blanc said yes to Barcelona, Cruyff was sacked.
Oh.
Incredible. He missed loads of big games through injury, so they didn't like him, sold him back to France. Man United, as we love to say some interesting facts about the players, at Man United, he... This is incredible. The 5 teams beat Man United in the league in 2001, 2002, I think it was, maybe 2000, 2001. And they spelt Blanc's surname, and he appeared in all 5 losses. Bolton, Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Chelsea are the 5 teams that beat Man United that season, and Blanc played on them. Alex Ferguson admitted he had tried to sign him since 1996. Eventually got his man in 2000. And he scored 4 goals during his time at Man United. One of them came in the league against which club? Spurs. And all 3 others came in the Champions League.
Yeah, I've got a vague memory of that.
So, yeah, Laurent Blanc, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what he's currently up to?
He was previously France manager, wasn't he? Is he currently sitting on his payout? And
he's not. He's got a job. But there's a reason why he's not sitting on his payout, because he's got a job somewhere very lucrative.
He's got somewhere in the Middle East.
He is managing of Al Rayyan Sports Club football team in the Qatar Stars League. Yes. So.
Oh, that's one of the most competitive leagues. That is really good. Does he have any players of note there?
That's a good question. Let's have a little quick
rogue Frenchman he's got.
Current first team squad. No.
No, okay. There
he
we go.
Has his highest, Yassine Brahimi, remember him from Algeria?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest name I recommend. And Johan Bolly, Ivory Coast, a couple of caps for Ivory Coast. Other than that, no. It is all Qatarians, apart from 1 Iranian, 1 Cameroonian, 1 Algerian, and 1 Ivory Coastian. Ivorian.
For some reason, it's reminded me of Philippe Christian Val. Do you remember Philippe Christian Val?
Yeah, the centre-back from Barcelona you could always pick up really cheap on Champ Andro 102.
Well, he again had like a solo season at Barcelona, I think.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah,
very
again,
true.
Similar. I think centre-back, but could do a bit of a sweeping job.
Yeah.
A
bit of Philippe Mexes about him. Bit of
Philippe Mexes?
Philippe Mexes about him, yeah. Sweeper centre-back, loved an overhead kick. So...
Yeah, lovely overhead kick, that one, actually.
But well done, Ross, for getting it in the chat. That was good. And one other comment that I missed before was that no Mandzukic does mean a lack of goal threat for Croatia. I'd agree. They did rely on him.
In a forward role, I agree. I'm hopeful currently.
I'm confident. I'm coming into this with confidence. Yeah, coming into confidence. Yeah.
But as we if things go, because if we win our group, we play second place from a group of death. So Portugal, Germany, France, or maybe Hungary would do something. But if we come second, we play second place in Spain's group, which you'd hope wouldn't be Spain. But I know you've got to beat everybody.
For third.
You have to beat good teams. But it'd be very annoying if our tournament gets curtailed at the next round because we have to face the winners.
Do we deserve that after our run in the World Cup? Karma.
No, I want more of that experience, please.
Yeah, exactly.
I want more of the same. I want to meet the best teams late on to give us the most amount of hope. I want to hear 3 Lions going around from people's back gardens to win a game. That's what I want, right?
Exactly. That is what we want. Right. Any other business, Josh?
Nothing from me.
Okay, nothing from me apart from the fact that we haven't discussed how we're going to review the games from now in next week's episode, because that's going to be quite a number of games. But we'll
go for a little day either side, really. We'll talk about England and maybe other games that would happen the previous day, something like that. We're going to pick up.
Yeah.
We're not going to just fill it with every single game. That would be. No.
We'll pick our highlights. We'll pick our highlights of what's happened.
Highlights and lowlights.
There we go. So that does bring an end to this week's podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you've been with us live on YouTube, thank you for your questions and your comments. If you want to get hold of us before next week's show, you can find us on Twitter at Football Talk. But remember,
there's no A in football.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you next week.